Welcome back. A car-free Tuesday. It sounds like a great idea. Fewer cars, lower pollution and better exercise for people on bikes. Even if it means going to office a little bit earlier, it sounds like a great idea. But is it realistic in the context of our cities and our appalling state of public infrastructure? Today was car-free day in Gurgaon. You tell us if it worked.
The highlight on the morning of Gurgaon's first car-free Tuesday was Police Commissioner Navdeep Singh riding a bicycle on a magically empty roads in a city where mile-long jams are the norm. And this was rush hour. 4 major roads in the city, DLF Cyber City, Cyber Park area, Golf Course area and Electronic City, lined with offices, were today no parking zones. Though this did lead to jams on the connecting roads, the mood today was upbeat. Millennium City will lead the way in cutting down on air pollution.
To reduce congestion on the road, reduce pollution and reduce load on the infrastructure. So it's a win-win for all the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders here? Government and people. So it's a win-win for both. So ultimately, if we can voluntarily move people to do it once a week, so it will be a great thing.
And the schools also took the lead in this initiative.
We've actually made concessions that today children who can't carpool can use our buses, and we'll accommodate in our buses just for today. And we've also created feeder buses which will go to the stations around, maybe go to our Vasant Vihar campus so that parents can find it easier to pick them up from there.
While the CEOs cycled, their employees hopped onto shuttle services.
In our office in Golf Course Road, we have about 2,500-3,000 employees, colleagues of mine. We've done a massive outreach program. Now it's voluntary, right? So I'll actually go to work now and see how many number of cars came less today to work.
You've got banners like these all over Gurgaon urging people to take, to carpool. Shuttle.com, one of those companies which is actually taking the lead. There's Ola, there are lots of other companies who are now, especially for this day today, running special buses and special shuttle services. So what you see are customers here who've been caught up from several places and told that almost for 20 rupees, they'll be taken to their taken to the destination.
Superb. This is unbelievable. I mean, if this is what Gurgaon could become every day, it would be a paradise. We really think this is the culmination of the concept we've been trying to sell. It's brilliant.
The traffic is very high on the highway. It's always just a nightmare to come from highway to Gurgaon. It's better we use the metro or public transport so that the traffic gets reduced over the city roads and we can commute easily.
From Hyderabad on Thursdays to Gurgaon on Tuesdays, the car-free movement is spreading. The challenge, making this sustainable and providing genuine public transport alternatives.
Today the vehicles are much less than what it used to be otherwise. At least 20% reduction today. From car-free Tuesdays, we actually want to make it car-free every day.
In Gurgaon, I'm Sonal Mehrotra, NDTV.
So just how successful was it? We've got a couple of some numbers, and these numbers might change. 25% less traffic. Snapdeal, which is based over there, had 250 fewer cars. Maruti had 600 fewer cars. Cyber Hub had 0 parking on the street. Nagaro was 100% car-free. Usually there are 1,000 cars over there. Well, joining us now, Navdeep Singh Virk. He is the Police Commissioner of Gurgaon. Sunita Narayan, the environmentalist, and Amina Sherwani, a resident of Gurgaon. Thank you all very much for joining us. Mr. Virk, let me come to you first. It was quite inspiring to see a police commissioner like you out on a cycle with a helmet on your head, trying to send a message that you need to participate. Citizens need to get out there. Were you enthused by what you saw?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's a citizens' initiative. We in the administration can only lead by example. So that was the whole idea, to present that actually if we can do it, then everybody can do it. So that was the idea, and I see it as a huge success of the people's movement.
And what about, and just give us an idea of the difference it made in terms of traffic in these areas. Typically, how congested are these areas of Gurgaon with cars on a normal day? How was it better today?
See, we as a start, we selected 4 corridors which have huge number of offices and where thousands and thousands of cars come every day.
So we motivated, of course it's a citizens initiative and everybody was motivated to, you know, voluntarily give up the cars or come by a pooled car or come by public transport. The companies hired buses for their employees. So as a result, the rough figures which we have been able to calculate so far, that we saw a 25 to 30% reduction in the number of cars which actually came in. And these numbers are actually calculated by the been collated from the various companies who participated in the drive. And from the atmospheric data, we have been able to kind of calculate that there was 20% improvement in kind of you know, the atmospheric pollution which is done by these cars. And this is, while this is the data, but on the road, I personally, you know, went around cycling for at least 5 to 10 kilometers, and I could see that certain places, couple of places where there was a, you know, it was a jam at that point of the day. It was like an open space, and you know, one could not believe his own eyes.
Okay, Sunita, let me come to you next. Mr. Virk says that, you know, it was open spaces in some areas, but we also saw that the highway between Delhi and Gurgaon was an absolute nightmare. At rush hour, it usually is a nightmare. So the question is this: while some places may have been a relative paradise, it may have been cleaner, people would have been getting exercise, isn't air pollution merely transferred from one area to another? Because you aren't going to stop people from using their cars. Maybe a small number of people, but the overall numbers are still horrifically large.
Vishnu, all that is right, but I think today is a day for celebration, and I think we should really congratulate the Police Commissioner of Gurgaon. We should congratulate the people of Gurgaon for taking this step. There is no doubt that we will only reduce air pollution when we get cars off the road and when we get a viable public transport system. That is a given. But the beginning to that is for people to accept the fact that it can be done. And I think in Gurgaon, we saw this happen today. It was unbelievable that you would even think of getting people off their cars, getting people onto cycle. My colleagues who live in Gurgaon actually cycled all the way from Gurgaon to Tughlakabad. A lot of people try to carpool. It builds a certain movement around the whole idea of saying we can do it. And I would like to congratulate the police commissioner, because what he has done is actually brilliant in making sure that the biggest way, the big change is to actually put a restraint on parking. Because it is the fact that you can park your vehicle that allows you to bring your car to places. If you look in New York, the way they bring change in the way people drive is by putting a high parking fee. And by making sure you cannot park on roads, you actually force people to think differently.
Right.
Now the long-term agenda kicks in. Now we have to think about public transport. Obviously, a lot has to be done to fix it.
Today is a good start.
Obviously, a lot has to be done to make it sustainable.
Sunita, I take your point.
But it's a great start. Don't take that away.
Amina, do you agree?
I agree that it's a brilliant
start. You are a
start.
resident of Gurgaon. What about those who would say that it's unrealistic? The fact of the matter is that there are people who still want to get on the highways. The roads were clogged up on the highway over there. It is an inconvenience for millions of people used to using their cars.
See, it is not compulsory. Number one, it is optional. Number two, anybody who's elderly, anybody who's disabled is not being forced. It is not something which we banned cars. It is to build the mood for people. However, today was a very mixed day for me. The place that was being used for all of us to cycle was actually where our green belt used to be. The entire golf course road, the green belt has been hacked off so that access to these fancy offices and malls built by these huge builders becomes great. So we have lost a green belt, and today we cycled upon the grave of our green belt. So vidambana hai, magar achhi vidambana hai.
Your green belt, but I mean there were cycles over there. There were no cars spewing gases.
Yes, but I wish my trees had been there, and I wish this road had not been broadened, and cycling had been, and public transport had been improved way before we lost our green belt. Many PWD roads and national highway, the green belts next to those have protection. They are called strip forests.
Right.
But the green belts within cities, in fact in the master plan of Gurgaon, what they have done is they have shown them as places where you can expand the utilities.